Let's look at Maslow. I'm going to explain his hierarchy of needs and look at his two main modifications. I know you guys have probably discussed Maslow's hierarchy of needs and in other classes, but it's such an important contribution to motivation, and it's really the best known and the earliest known theory that's out there. So if we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can see that it's ranked. And so what Maslow says, he hypothesized that every human being has an internal hierarchy of 5 needs. And when we talk about hierarchy, it means that you have to complete one before moving on to the other. And as each one of those needs is satisfied, then the next need becomes more dominant. So what he says is that the first one is physiological needs, and that's hunger, that's thirst, shelter, bodily needs that you might have. And then the second one, once those are met, then you move to security and protection with the safety. And that's where you're free from physical and emotional harm. And so those are what we're called, or what we will call, the lower order needs. And you can see that this compares human needs to Theory X and Theory Y, and we'll talk about that also. And the Theory X is really the last two portions of this. We're kind of laying one theory on top of another. And then the next one is social needs, or love, that we all need. That's affection, a sense of belonging. Friendship falls into that. Acceptance with our peers. And then once that's met, then esteem. We have an internal esteem where it's self-respect and achievement. External will be your status, recognition, also attention. And then when you reach the pinnacle, when you are there, you're capable of being all that you can possibly be. That's your self-actualization, and that's where that falls. But when we look at, like I said, we're comparing and we're putting McGregor's assumption on the same scale that we would Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Then we say that people by nature are indolent, that is, they work as little as possible. That's Theory X. That people lack ambition, they dislike responsibility, they prefer to be led. Again, we're looking at just people in Theory X. People are inherently self-centered, indifferent to organizational needs. People are resistant to change. They're gullible, not very bright, ready to be taken advantage of. In Theory Y, these are the people that not by nature, they're not passive or resistant to organizational needs. They become so as a result of the experience, the motivation. They have potential for development, the capacity for assuming responsibility, readiness to direct behavior toward organizational goals. And really, these are the type of people that you want in your organization. And the essential task of management is to arrange conditions, methods of operation, so people can achieve their own goals by directing their own effort toward the organizations. And then another, it's Alderfer's ERG theory, and it says that there's an existence need that encompasses physiological and safety needs. And then relatedness need, and encompasses interpersonal safety, love, and esteem needs. And then growth need, it encompasses self-actualization and self-esteem needs. But if I'm looking at them, I really like, it's the next one that we're going to move into, is the need for achievement, power, and affiliation influence the individual's behavior in the workplace. And this is probably the one of motivation theories that I buy into. And my favorite, it's McClelland's need theory, or manifest needs. And these are learned or acquired needs that are easily perceived. The first one is what McClelland says is you might have a need for achievement, and that encompasses excellence, competition, challenging goals, persistence, overcoming difficulty. And people with a high need for achievement will perform better. Then the other one that McClelland brings up is the need for power. So that one is concerns the desire to influence others, change people or events, make a difference in life. And the categories with this, you either have socialized power or personalized power. Show those to you. Sorry about that. And then the last is a need for affiliation. That's the urge to establish and maintain warm, close, intimate relationships with others. Now, what we're going to do is, I'll finish my lecture right here because I've just got some information on McClelland that I've got a video to watch. Then you've got an assessment to do about McClelland and the needs theory that you can go through and look at. And you're going to find out whether or not you have a need for achievement, a need for power, or a need for affiliation. And there's just a little worksheet, and that worksheet you can either print it out and keep it, or you can just use it virtually and fill it out, but get your results and answer your questions honestly, because you need to know what McClelland says your need is, or your manifest needs, and then you can look at it. And then after that, I have some handouts that you can look at, and that will tell you a little bit more about yourself, whether you have, your power, affiliation, or if your achievement, and just your pros and also your cons with that.